Now, Mr. Quinn, or Harley Quinn, is not technically the detective in this series. It is, in fact, Mr. Satterthwaite. Mr. Satterthwaite. Mr. Satterthwaite. Satterthwaite. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Patricia Meredith, and I am the author of Historical Mysteries. The first series is the Spokane Clock Tower Mystery set in 1901 Spokane, beginning with Butcher, Baker, Candlestick Taker. Now, as a mystery author, I can't get away with talking about mystery without mentioning the Queen of Crime herself, Agatha Christie. So the question that I get most often is not, have I heard of Agatha Christie or have I read Agatha Christie, but how many Agatha Christies have I read? As of this recording, I have read all of the Poirots and all of the Miss Marples and all of the Tommy and Tuppence and all of the Mr. Quinns. Now, outside of that, there are a couple other detectives that you may not have heard of. So today I am going to feature my favorite books of all time by Agatha Christie, and I'm going to try to narrow it down to the one book that if you were going to give Agatha Christie a try before you die, I would recommend reading this book. So let's see if I can do it. We're going to begin with an Agatha Christie novel that actually does not have a detective at all. It is one that you are probably familiar with, and it is called And Then There Were None. And Then There Were None has a special history for me because actually the very first Agatha Christie novel that I ever read was this one. Not only that, but when I was in school and I was asked to do a book report, one of the books that I chose was And Then There Were None. And I didn't just write a book report. Instead, I reenacted out the entire show with a video camera and my friends out at my friend's farm. Now, I do still have a copy of this, but because I have not gotten the permission of the other people in the film, I will not be sharing that with you today. When it comes to adaptations, if you're thinking, oh, I'll just watch it instead of reading it, I strongly recommend that you read the book before watching any adaptations. This is definitely one not to be missed. It is often listed on the list of 50 mystery books that you must read before you die. There's a reason why this one is high up there. A quick summary of this one would be 10 people are invited to an island and they are slowly killed off one by one. Who did it? Who will survive? Let's find out by the end of And Then There Were None. Another of my favorite Agatha Christie novels is Partners in Crime. Now, if you haven't yet, I recommend that you check out my episode of Better Detectives Than Sherlock, where I talked a little bit more about Tommy and Tuppence. Now, Partners in Crime is not their first novel. They first appeared in The Secret Adversary, which was actually Agatha Christie's second novel. But Partners in Crime is my absolute favorite version of Tommy and Tuppence because it is a collection of short stories. Tommy and Tuppence have set up their own detective agency, and they have decided that every time they are given a mystery, they're going to solve it the way that a famous detective that they have read would do so. So by reading this book, you really get into the mind and the reading list of Agatha Christie herself, which is super fun. There are some recognizable names in here, like Sherlock Holmes, and there are others that I had never heard of, and in fact have had a hard time tracking down copies of the books because I would love to read each of these short stories and then read the detective that they are copying, or vice versa. So I strongly recommend this book. It is full of wit and banter, and Tommy and Tuppence are always so much fun. The next one up is another detective that you might not be familiar with, but he appears first in the short story collection, The Mysterious Mr. Quinn. Now, Mr. Quinn, or Harley Quinn, is not actually the detective in this series, but he's certainly the most interesting character. This is one of my favorite non-Poirot Miss Marple mysteries because Harley Quinn is a very intriguing character. I can't say too much, except to say that he is inspired by the Commedia dell'arte character that goes by that name, and not by the DC comic character who goes by that name. I can say, however, that if you like your mysteries with a little more of a supernatural aspect, this is going to be your Agatha Christie. Next, we come to Miss Marple. Now, Miss Marple is involved in a long string of adventures, beginning with Murder at the Vicarage and ending with Sleeping Murder. But in between, there are two novels that really jump out to me. One of them is A Murder is Announced. I absolutely love this one because a murder is announced in the newspaper that somebody is going to be murdered, and all these people show up at the house. And even the people at the house have no idea what they're talking about. They saw the article themselves and they're wondering what is going on. So all these people show up thinking it's going to be like a murder party, right? Murder dinner party, right? Where somebody is dead and you have to solve the mystery. Well, not so much. Tied for best Miss Marple mystery with A Murder is Announced is A Pocket Full of Rye. Now, as you can see, this is one that I've actually listened to on audiobook, and that's actually how I went through all of the Poirots and Miss Marples in a year, was by listening to them on audio. They are wonderfully done, and sometimes you can find reenactments like radio plays, and those are really fun too. But of course, in the end, the book is the best. So A Pocket Full of Rye is close to my heart because, of course, it is a twist on a nursery rhyme, just like my Butcher Baker Candlestick Taker, Cupboards All Bared, and Crazy Maids in a Row. Now, in this one, the murderer is killing people off according to the rhyme, which inspires the title. Sing a song of sixpence, a pocket full of rye, 24 blackbirds baked in a pie. You'll have to find out how the murderer does each of those murders according to the rhyme by reading the book. It is definitely up there with one of my favorites. Now, you might think that picking out my favorite Poirot novel was going to be the hardest, but actually it was one of the easier ones. Poirot has so many fantastic adventures, beginning with The Mysterious Affair at Styles and ending with Curtain, which is absolutely one of the best finales for a detective ever written. Definitely check this out. But in between, we have a wonderful short story collection called The Labors of Hercules. Now, you're going to notice a theme. This is my favorite. It's a short story collection, and it's all connected with one theme. Every single one of the murders that Poirot has decided to solve are connected, and they all have to do with a labor of Hercules. For example, the very first one is the Nemean lion, and then the Lernaean hydra, and then the Arcadian deer, etc., etc. So if you're not familiar with the labors of Hercules, it's fun to follow along and read a quick article describing what the original labor was, and then seeing how Agatha Christie has tied that into the murder in the book. So there you have it. Will my all-time favorite Agatha Christie novel be And Then There Were None, Partners in Crime, The Mysterious Mr. Quinn, A Murder is Announced, A Pocket Full of Rye, or The Labors of Hercules? Drum roll, please. All right. This is really hard. I'm glad I got a chance to share with you all of my favorites in each of the different types of Agatha Christie books because picking only one is super hard. That being said, I've decided that if you are only going to read one Agatha Christie novel in your lifetime before you die, I highly recommend Partners in Crime. Partners in Crime is my absolute favorite. Featuring Tommy and Tuppence, it has wit and banter, and it introduces you to other detectives. So if it's the only Agatha Christie you ever read, it will inspire you to read other detectives and other mysteries by other authors that inspired Agatha Christie. So are you going to stop after this one? No, you're definitely not. If anything, you're going to be so interested that you're going to go out and continue reading mystery. While you're out there, check out my books, The Spokane Clock Tower Mysteries, which feature a lot of the same things that if you like Agatha Christie, you're going to find those involved in my books. In fact, I have gotten a couple different reviews where I have been compared to Agatha Christie, and I can't get over that. I'm incredibly honored to have been compared to her. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you found this interesting. Be sure to tell me in the comments below what your favorite Agatha Christie novel is. And if you haven't read Agatha Christie, are you going to try Partners in Crime, or are you going to try one of the other ones that I recommended? I look forward to hearing what you think. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you'll be the first to know when I publish my next video. I am posting every Saturday and going live every last Saturday of the month. So I look forward to seeing you in one of those. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.